comic book fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner. I'm your host as always, Cammy. Now, this week was a fucking kick-ass week for comics, so let's get right to the pick of the week because this one has got my panties all wet. From Dark Horse Entertainment, we have The Umbrella Academy, Dallas #6, written by Gerard and art by Gabriel. Now it's Dallas, 1963. An old-fashioned gunfight is going down in the Old Book Depository, where old number 5 and young number 5 are trying to pretty much stop each other from killing or not killing a president. Old number 5 is trying to kill the assassins of JFK, while the younger number 5 is trying to kill JFK. Well, it turns out that old number 5's in luck. Spaceboy, Seance, and Kraken come to the rescue. They prevent younger number 5 from doing so. Older number 5 takes all the shots, kills all the assassins, and teleports away. Well, it turns out number 5 has a backup plan, and that backup plan is in the car, replacing Jacqueline Kennedy, and it's the rumor. And guess what? The temps did some surgery on her, and she has her vocal cords back. So she heard a rumor that JFK's head exploded, and sure enough, it happens. So it's just like, holy shit, it still happened anyway. Even though Spaceboy was trying to prevent a president from being killed this day, number 5 made sure that it went ahead and happened anyway. So they teleport back to the present. They go, what the hell was all that about? You know, what did we accomplish? And Carmichael, the leader, the guy with the head as a goldfish, tells them that they actually just maintain the status quo. Everything's going to keep on going, and if anything, they save the world from preventing Hargreaves, their father, from ever meeting JFK and acquiring the nukes that one day would fall into Hazel and Cha-Cha's hands, and as one day, as we've seen in the previous issues, destroy the world. So it was a very good series. I loved this series, and I cannot wait for the next upcoming deluxe edition hardcover. They already have previews for what the trade paperback's going to look like, but sure enough, same as the hardcover, it's coming, and I am so excited because I have the first one, and I just love it because it's so amazing. So thank you, Gerard and Gabriel for making such an amazing and fantastic series, and I cannot wait for the 3rd volume. Take your time. Just do whatever you have to do. I know it's going to be amazing. Now, on to the Fast 5. First up from DC, we have Green Lantern Corps number 36. Now, what Tomasi and Gleason are able to do in this just one issue is tell 3 separate kick-ass stories. The first with Sinestro and his daughter Soranik, talking about how he lost her, how he found her again, and, you know, pretty much giving the Vader speech of, like, you know, no, I am your father, and, you know, she's all like, no! He's like, yes, you know. Anyway, you got that going on. You got the riot in the science cells again. It's just still out of control. Vice is just eating people in a very disturbing way. And then finally you have a battle going on Daxam, with Ion finally tapping into his power to go and battle against Mongol. And sure enough, he leads them on a wild goose chase and plummets right into the red sun. So I don't know what's going to happen next issue. But let me tell you, just from this issue alone, it was so action-packed that I cannot wait. Prelude to the Blackest Night, as usual, and that July's not coming fast enough. It's not coming fast enough! Next up from Image, we have The Walking Dead number 61. Now in this issue, they're on the road again from the zombie hordes. And sure enough, they've come across a van that has actual mattresses in it for nice sleeping. And while they're stopped, they come across another man, a father, another priestly guy, a Father Gabriel Stokes, and he's been wandering out in the wilderness and, you know, asks to join the party. You know, player 4 has joined the party. Gabriel Stokes has joined the party. And in the meantime, one of the twins, turns on the other one. It's kind of like a Cain and Abel type situation, and just doesn't feel bad about murdering his own brother. So Carl decides to play judge, jury, and executioner, and in the blackest of nights, he goes in and shoots him, and gets away with it. One guy's suspicious of him, but still, someone had to kill the kid, and it wasn't going to be any of the adults. It might as well have been a jury of his peers, as it were. So, they're on the road again. Walking Dead continues to be such an amazing, fascinating tale. Next up, from Marvel, we have Deadpool Suicide Kings number 2. Now, number 1 I wasn't so sure about, and then the previous one-shot, Games of Death, written by the same guy, Mike Benson, That was horrible. So number 2 finally came along, and I loved this issue. It was so much fun because you got Deadpool versus the Punisher, and poor Deadpool, by the end of the series, it's like watching Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He's like the Black Knight. He gets both of his arms chopped off, blood's flying and splattering everywhere, and just as he gets impaled in the chest with the sword, Daredevil comes to his rescue, because although Punisher thinks he's guilty, Matt Murdock, of course the lawyer, thinks he's innocent. So it's going to be a fun next couple of issues with the Daredevil versus the Punisher versus the Deadpool. So tune in and find out what happens next. Next up, from Vertigo, we have Fables number 84. Now this is part 4 of 9 of the Great Fables crossover, and we focus on Jack, heading to the farm and taking advantage of poor Rose Red in her fragile state. She's been mourning the loss of Boy Blue ever since issue 81. She's been bedridden all day and kind of looks like Amy Winehouse. She looks horrible, and she's like smoking all the time. So Jack, of course, takes advantage of the situation, is put in charge temporarily as her number 1 guy, making all the decisions on the farm for her while she lays back and gets her rest. And it's funny because Badger mistakes Jack for being the second coming of Boy Blue, so now he has his own little cult following him as well. So Jack's in a nice little position of power, all up until the end where his son, Jack Frost, finally catches up with him and says, like, hey, are you my dad? So now it's going to be like, oh shit, I want a blood test, knowing Jack. So it's a fun issue. I love Jack, and I love how Rose Red, although she hates him, could use a good fuck anyway. And finally this week from DC we have Secret 6 number 9. Now in this issue we follow Catman, Ragdoll, and Bane as they're taking care of these different terrorist groups in Gotham who are doing political kidnappings of children. So children of politicians. They're going to hold them ransom, etc. Well, not according to half the Secret 6. They're in Gotham at the time on another paid job to prevent this from happening. And so they take care of each family in the most kind of brutal way. Sure, they save the family, but what they do to the bad guys is like Bane breaking backs and skulls, Ragdoll doing this, like he's like a boa constrictor, like he just wraps himself around you, herself around you, and sure enough, you're just dead. And Ragdoll has quite the funny Robin the Boy Wonder costume going on. Just trying to fit in with the whole Battle of the Cowl, tie-in. And it's Ragdoll. Anything he says is pretty creepy, as they point out in the book. And sure enough, at the end, Nightwing says, thanks for the help, get the hell out of my city. And it's a very nice little one-shot of discussing why Catman, Bane, or any of them can't replace the Batman. He's the pale brown shadow of the Batman, as Bane points out. It's a very, very fun issue. Well done, Miss Simone and Miss Nicola Scott. Well, that does it this week for Camy's Comic Corner. If you want more Camy's Comic Corner goodness, head on over to www.camyscomiccorner.com. From there, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or the RSS feed. And also, if you like any of the kick-ass t-shirts that you see me wearing, Elapsed Johnson people, hells yeah. Head on over to www.deadlinegraphics.net and send Kelly an email today. He has an entire selection of different comic books t-shirts from all the big companies, and he will even do customized t-shirts of any superhero that you might want. There's only one name that I trust when it comes to comic book t-shirts, that is Kelly, over at www.deadlinegraphics.net. And also, while you're out browsing the interwebs, head on over to rsc-online.com. Rising Sun Creations is my newest sponsor, and they specialize in manga, cool collectible toys imported straight from Japan, and U.S. comics as well. And right now they are sponsoring a contest for this show. If you want a copy of Stephen King's Dark Tower, The Gunslinger Born, send me an email to camyscomiccorner@gmail.com. In the subject line, manga. And remember, it's for U.S. residents only. I'm sorry, so go ahead and include your shipping address just in case you are randomly selected. Be sure to check out their online store while you're at rsc-online.com. Thank you again to Rising Sun Creations for being such a cool sponsor this episode. Well, fans, that does it for this week in Camy's Comic Corner. If you want to see me around the interwebs, you know where to look. Until then, I'm going to go drink my coffee and be cliche like that.